Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the Hearts Pirates TCG, and I'm actually bringing you a video, my first video ever, because I've seen so many deck lists for blue-purple Kaido, or blue-purple Croc, and I just feel like something's off with the lists that I'm seeing. So I wanted to bring you guys this one. I think this is by far the best way to play it, as far as all the videos that I've seen, all the, the deck lists I've seen of everything topping. I think the list I'm going to show you guys is actually the best that it can be right now in OP01. So I'm going to go ahead and break down my matchups. I played in a couple tournaments with this. My wins and losses, strong suits, things like that. So without further ado, we're going to be playing two of the jacks that basically give you an extra Dawn. Our big boys, actually, you're going to be actually Dawn minusing a lot in this deck with your bigger drops. So if you can either get them out early enough, or one turn, if you have a surplus of cards, ditch one to just get an extra Dawn. Sometimes it actually is really, really helpful because you do Dawn minus one a lot, and you really need that Dawn to play your counters. Or not play your counters, play your events. So I think two is good. I don't think I would. A lot of times you can ditch bad cards in your hand too, though. So I don't think I would play more than two. I don't think, at least not right now. For the red matchup, I wasn't playing this before, but I feel like you're a fool if you don't play for Who's Who. Dawn minus one, kill a three, right? So one of the games I actually lost. I went 3-2 in my tournament today. We had 26 people. One of my games I lost because I couldn't get a Robin off the field. I just couldn't get Robin off the field, no matter what I did. So I just lost because of that. So I feel like Who's Who with your green matchup and your red matchup, just getting those Otokus off the field, or Okikus off the field, getting the Robin off the field, the Zoros, it just goes a long way, and it's just a Dawn minus one. And it's a swing threat later, if you put two on it, which you probably will never do, but it's an option, for you to do. I'm playing 10 events, so you can draw some. I'm playing 2 Overheat, because sometimes it does come in handy, right? Sometimes you're playing, especially if the person is not as great, if they sequence wrong, you can return a 2-drop blocker, if you're playing against Kaido, or just return something that's really freaking annoying, like a Robin, for example, or even sometimes a Zoro in certain situations, just so they have to spend more Dawn. But that's very situational. I don't know if I would actually recommend doing that. But this is just it's a 2 of, it has a trigger. So I feel like it's useful to play, and it's only a 2 cost. So the other 4, I'm playing 4 Love Mellows. I mean, it's so good. It's a 2 cost, but it's a plus 4,000 counter, and you draw a card if you're below 3. And they just recently changed the ruling. So if this is your 4th card, you activate this, you draw from Love Mellow, and then you draw from the Crocodile effect. So it's a draw 2 plus 4,000 counter, and you can keep recycling this from your trash pile too. And with Miss All Sunday, so it feels like you have infinite of these as long as you just play the deck right. And this deck actually requires a lot of play testing for it to actually be good, and for you to feel comfortable actually playing in a tournament with it. For Spadas to actually finish off the count, I'm only playing 10. I'm playing 10 events because the way I'm playing my deck, you can recycle them, and you can choose what is coming up on the top of your deck, and you draw a lot, so you don't want to just brick on 6 events and then just not be able to play any actual character cards. So 10 I feel is good. I used to play 15, but it's not as good as I thought it was. You want the engine, but you don't want to be stuck with the engine, So you don't want to be only stall. But speaking of only stall, we're playing literally. He's just a 2,000 blocker. I rarely summon him unless I actually think he's just if I have nothing else and I need something on the field, So 2,000 blocker mainly, but his normal effect comes in handy sometimes. Another 2,000 blocker, that effect comes in handy sometimes. I have in previous versions, I've summoned him. Like I played the discard version before, and I didn't like it as much. I think it wasted its potential. But just a 2000 counter is just good. It's just good. So we want to protect our big boys, and sometimes we don't have enough. Sometimes we don't have enough Dawn to just put like big boys on the field or swing with them and protect them. So we need the 2000 counters. I'm playing 2 Mihawk. The reason I'm playing 2 Mihawk, instead of 4 Mihawk, is because I took out 2 of him to play the 2 Jack. That could go back and forth because the Jack is good to just get early Dawn, but he's good to just get rid of dead cards in your hand, and he's always going to be a threat at 6,000. But he doesn't ramp as well unless you're going second, which I try not to do. I try to go first in this deck. So yeah, I mean, that's up for debate. It depends on what you like. If you prefer the Mihawks, then play the Mihawks. As for blockers, we're playing a ton of blockers, right? So we're playing 4 of the 1-drop Law. I mean, you just have to play this card. It's 1-drop Law. And then we're playing 4 of the 2-drop blockers. Literally the point of this deck, how this deck plays, is I feel like how you should be playing it with blue-purple Kaido, or Croc, is you stall and stall and stall with, like, you know, you swing with like your Crocodile, you swing with like, you know, a Jack, or, you know, maybe a Mihawk, and then you put a bunch of blockers on, so you have like 2, sometimes 3 blockers, or maybe just a blocker or 2 and a counter in hand, and then you summon like your big boys, and then you just start swinging for game, and they can't get your big boys off the field, and they can't do damage. So you're just killing them, and like either you're killing them or you're just making them lose so much advantage, and you're gaining advantage from just drawing from either Love Mellow or Spada, or Miss All Sunday, get stuff from the trash. So like you're gaining so much advantage and whittling them down. It's a very slow deck, but like you can actually put people on a clock. I'll talk about that later. But with more blockers, I'm playing 3 Miss All Sunday. I used to play 4. I used to think she was so good. But there are times, guys, where like you just don't have anything in the trash, and so you summon her, and you're like, I hope to God they don't like find some way to like tap her and then just kill her, so she just goes neg. So yeah, I took her out for the blocker I'm going to show you. I took 1 out for the blocker I'm going to show you. She's still good. I mean, obviously, late game she's fantastic. You're always going to have something in the trash. But early game, I just found she just wasn't, like, drawing her too much was just not good for me. So I took some out for 3 Doflamingos. I mean, guys, he's a 3/4 blocker, but like choosing the top 5. I know you're not Doflamingo, so like it doesn't matter. You're not going to summon it, but just like knowing what you're going to draw into off Crocodile's effect, like sometimes like can make your plays, make you like play things a little differently. And if you're like, oh, I know for a fact I have a 2000 counter coming up, I can play Spada and like draw it and then like survive the next attack too. So like he's actually phenomenal, and he's not like a weak dude. He has 4000 attack, so you can swing with him if you need to, but a lot of times you don't. But I mean, you do play a lot of blockers, so like if you do need to, then you can, you know, like it's nice to have the option. We're also playing 3 queens. The ratios are a little like 3-3-3. It's because like sometimes queen is like a Dawn -1 like early game after you are already who's who'd, or you know, maybe if you kinged already. Spoiler alert, I'm playing kings. It just like doesn't feel good, you know, like it kind of hurts your like turn potential. Like coming up, you're like, oh, I have 8 instead of 9 now. I can't drop Kaido, so it's good for the draw, but like you draw a ton in this deck anyway, so it's like, yeah, it's good, but it's not. You don't need 4 of them to like get into your engine. You're gonna get into your engine regardless. And then I'm playing 2 king, like the pool or the Dawn -2, and I'm playing 2 king, Dawn -1. They're both 7s, 7 attackers, so that's good. But he, like, it depends on matchups, right? So, like, this king is really, really good against, like, Kaido, because it can kill Black Maria, or it's also good against, like, blue, which you have a really good blue matchup. But this king right here is really good against green and red and green. So like you can get rid of blockers. Like you can, like sometimes people are just like holding on to like a jewelry Bonnie and a blocker, and you just kill them both. Like, sorry, bro. Or a Okiku and a blocker, and you kill them both. Sorry, bro. It doesn't matter. Like, this could help you gain so much advantage by just summoning it. And I put green on the clock because he had an I mean, that's literally what happened. He had an Okiku and then a beige or a chopper or something. And I killed them both. And literally, he just had, like, Dawn and then Kid, you know? So, like, he didn't have a whole lot. Yeah, I took one life that turn, but I was able to stabilize the next turn, like surround him with blockers and like events and all that. Like your weakest turn is playing these guys, which is why you play so many blockers, because like sometimes you need that turn to just like sometimes you just need to not die and then play big boys and then just survive and stabilize the next turn. And these two are diverse. You can discard these if you need to, off queen or off anything. So like they're never like truly dead. Unless you need them for like a counter or whatnot, which if that's the case, you're already losing. And then the last card in my deck, I'm playing 3 Rush Kaido. Guys, like sometimes these are in prizes, like in your life, and you try to avoid taking life early because, I mean, you only have 4 life to begin with. But like sometimes you just like need to see him and you just don't see him because one's in prize and one's at like the bottom of the deck. So like you go all this like time trying to draw cards into him that like just I feel like 2 wasn't enough, so I had to bump him up into a 3rd. I feel like it could clog a little bit, but like there are worse cards to play than him. If you see him and you can like if he's in your turn, like if he's in your hand turn 1 and you can play your whole game around like dropping this at the best time, I feel like he's never really a dead card. You know, unless you're just getting like smacked by like red, or like Kaido already formed like a super big board and you just like can't really break it without dying. He like that. I don't really ever feel like this card's dead. Like when I see it, I'm like, oh man, like I'm about to, like you're actually gonna die next turn. But you have to play all of these so smart. Like this deck is not for someone that is just beginning. You have to actually play this deck so smart because you're playing on their turn and you're playing on your turn. Because you have to play Dawn for your defense, for your events, and you have to play Dawn for attacking, and you have to balance your characters as well. So like this deck is very difficult to play, but it is a very high ceiling. It's high risk, high reward. Like it murders blue. This deck absolutely murders blue. And then it kills, it does really good against green too. I won both my kid matchups today. And I win a lot of my Doflamingo matchups too. Your hardest, at first, before I made the changes with the Who's Who's, your hardest matchup was red. But like I feel like that's the most popular deck, so you can't have just like your worst matchup be the most popular deck. So I added the Who's Who's to like get some board stabilization, like all that type of stuff. So you shouldn't like really have too much of a disadvantage against red. And then also, to be honest, like purple, it's a toss-up. It's just whoever can get board control first, usually with the 9-drop Kaido. Like if you can get the 9-drop Kaido out with like a blocker and then like maybe a blocker or 2, or even just 1 blocker and like a 2K in hand, they're like never going to get that off the field. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to make like a breakdown video of exactly how to play this deck. I'm going to do some commentaries on some gameplay of mine. I'm super excited to continue this to continue this channel. I think it's going to be really fun for a really long time, and I have so many great ideas. So if you guys want to subscribe, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, that's blue purple Kaido for you. Let me know if you actually try this out and if it works for you, because it's working pretty well for me, and I'm only getting better with the deck every single time I play. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a fantastic day.